What's up, everybody, and welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Proud to be here with you every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic President's Day and hopefully coming off of a fantastic weekend. Once again, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora live for you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You're watching on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, where the show's being shared. You're listening worldwide on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, and that MixLR feed is also available for you on the homepage of WakeUpCallDT.com, so you can catch us there as well. So however you're tuning into the show, thank you so much for being a part of it. I am honored and privileged today to have with me for the entire show, it is an Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones, takeover of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', the topic of the day is simply the story of Omari Palmer. Odyssey Jones, NXT of the WWE NXT 2.0, joining me here, and former Syracuse Orange football player on the offensive line. This is the story of Odyssey Jones, and it's coming to you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal with locations on 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and of course on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their first ever drive-through location in North Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, where we will be this week on February 22nd, 222 of 222. I'll be there with Jason Leone. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Very excited inside the Cafe Kubal studios. Get your coffee ready. Get your popcorn ready. Because coming up right after this fast break, it is time for us to hear the story of Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones. How a little kid who fell in love with wrestling became a professional wrestler, and in the midst of all of this was a Division I FBS football player. So much coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora after this fast break. Don't move.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You're watching on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. And you're listening on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. I am so honored and privileged to talk to Syracuse Orange alumni from any decade, any time. I don't care if they played every snap, one snap, whatever it may be. But this is a very unique conversation. I'm speaking with a Syracuse Orange football alum, but I'm also speaking with someone connected to the WWE in NXT which, as he talked about off the air, is kind of like the G League, like, the NBA and the G League of the NBA gets you the opportunity to get called up and still be a part of the WWE wrestling world. So this is Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones. And this is the first time I've ever gotten to do a conversation like this. So, Omari, we are making history. And would you like me to call you Omari, or would you like me to call you Odyssey for this one? What do you want?
Omari's fine. I feel Odyssey's a little excessive. It's a lot. Omari's cool. Most people just call me O.
So let me ask you, Omari, how did you come up with the name Odyssey Jones?
I had the name for a little bit going into it. I just had a hard time getting the last name. My first name, my first car was a Honda Odyssey. And I always wanted to get the initials to be the same because my middle name starts with a J. So once I heard Odyssey, I thought that was kind of cool, and I just kind of ran with that. And then I siphoned through a bunch of J's and names that sounded, black, like just like a certain type of names that had a certain ring to it. And I pitched Odyssey Jones to them. First pitch went in, they gave it to me, which is pretty good because most people don't get their first pitch. Usually they have to change their names a lot or reshuffle things. So I lucked out with that.
Yeah, it'd be funny if you're like, hey, my first pitch was the Caterpillar, and they said no.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get there. And some people come up with some really cool stuff, but a lot of them don't get their first pitch.
So we got Odyssey Jones. I love the fact that Honda City of Liverpool has been a longtime partner of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I just picked up my new Honda CRV, and you had a Honda Odyssey, so we just shamelessly plugged Honda City, so that's good.
Yeah, loved it. It was one of my favorite cars to drive.
So you come up with Odyssey from that, Odyssey Jones all put together. So that's the name behind that's the music behind the name, a look behind the curtain. Omari, after people finish up playing football, typically they lose weight. You look like you become an even bigger dude. So bring me into like going from lineman to wrestler.
So first, I had the injury back at the end of Cuse, and it took me a long time to get the strength back. It took me like a year to get the strength back. And then after I got out of college, I just kept lifting, doing a little bit of cardio here and there. When I came in here, I was like 330, I think, when I started at the WWE. So like 15, 20 pounds heavier than I was in college. And then after I kind of realized how it was, I was just like, I got to get bigger. I mean, right now it's a little bit different, but I was just kind of lifting heavy and put on a few pounds.
And when we look at this, I mean, coming off of that injury, for those who don't know, describe kind of what your body had to go through at the end of your time at Syracuse.
So I had the injury. From the injury, I lost about 20 pounds. So before I kind of started walking to rehab, and I went from like maybe 325 in season, 320 in season to about 300, 305. So then I got that back, and then I had to slowly lift and kind of get my cardio back and my movement back. I was fortunate to be a decent weight for pro day. I got in at like, I think 312 or 315. So I put on like a decent amount of pounds and keep my strength relative, considering that, for half the year I wasn't really lifting. And for going into the training for pro day, I only really had 3 or 4 months of real training for it.
What was the injury?
I had a hairline fracture in my tibia.
And so now you thought, hey, I came back from injury in college football. I should go be a wrestler.
I mean, so I always, if a lot of people didn't know, so in the locker room, I always said this is what I wanted to do. When I talk to people and they'd be like, what are you going to do if football doesn't work out? And I was like, if football doesn't work out, I'm joining the WWE. I've always wanted to be a WWE superstar. I always felt I could do it. I always felt I was, encompassing enough of it, because it's more than just being unique. You got to be humble. You got to be able to work with people. You got to be creative. And I felt like I had enough of each variable to be successful in it. So I was just fortunate to kind of get the chance to try out for it and do it. And I'm happy that it worked out the way it did, because I was talking a lot of crap saying I'd be here. It sucked if I didn't get here after how I was talking.
Which one of your teammates at Syracuse, speaking here with Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cue Ball Studios, which one of your teammates at Syracuse, like, if you think back of that locker room of 85 rosters, so 84 other guys, who in that locker room believed you, like vehemently believed you, like the ones that really thought, hey, he's going to make it in WWE? And then tell me that like pocket that didn't, that were the first people you called and said, I told you I was going to do this.
I don't know if it was ever people who didn't believe in me openly, so I can't name drop someone, like people that didn't think I could make it. But I definitely know that Sheamus, my boy Shamo, he definitely had my back. He definitely was all aboard the trade early. And same thing with Ryan Norton. He was all for it early too, which was pretty fun and funny to see.
You know, the cool thing about this too is, you're Sheamus Shanley. I just did a show with Sheamus Shanley, and I've had Ryan Norton on the show. So, like, those two guys, you telling me that they were supportive of you, like, I've just talked to them both very recently. So, were they part of your first calls when you got the opportunity with WWE?
I'm kind of humble with that stuff. I never really went on the phone and kind of called everybody and kind of did all that. I'm not really on social media like heavy. I'm still getting acclimated to being on all social media. Like, I've had the Facebook. I barely check that. We went through a hassle with that because I'm not on Facebook. It takes
you like a year and a half to check your messages.
And I was like, oh damn, I just saw it because I'm out on Facebook a lot, and like I made Twitter when I got here, and I don't like tweeting. Like, I'm out on Twitter a lot. I recently started getting more into it with it all. But no, I wasn't like calling everybody and posted in your face. I made it, you didn't, yada, yada, yada. Cause I was just still shocked and kind of focused and happy that it happened. And when it comes to stuff like this, I don't really like all the attention. I kind of like to just like kind of be under the radar, do my thing, get my money, have my fun, live my life, and not kind of rub it in anyone's faces or anything.
So who's the first person you told? If you weren't all public about it, like, who's the first person that you did tell?
From the team, from Q's?
First person in general. I mean, if you remember the first person you told at Q's, I'd love to know. But like the first person as well that you told, like, above everybody.
One of the first people I told was my parents, for sure, because I remember going into that year. They had a few trips. They planned a few trips to Africa, and I didn't want to go because I wanted to still try to play NFL and try to get somewhere. So I was doing semi-pro. Won the semi-pro, won the championship, went to a CFL practice with Saskatchewan. What's that, the Rough Riders, I think it is?
Yeah.
Went to a CFL workout with them, and then immediately after that I had the tryout. And my parents were kind of telling me, because the timing was kind of weird with football. I was kind of losing the love for it. Like, anyway, my college experience wasn't the best. I had 3 head coaches in 5 years, 4 offensive coordinators, 5 O-line coaches. I had turnover every year. By the 5th year came, I was kind of spent, burnt out. I was basically on campus with I had a few friends kind of on campus. A lot of people I was there with were gone. A lot of people I grew up with and hung out with was gone. So that last year was kind of rough for me. So, I was out of it. I was ready to move on. So my parents was the first people I told, because they kind of knew, they kind of see it. They kind of see me not enjoying everything, the process, as much as I used to.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you went through all that change, and you went through all that, knowing that it's a business, so to speak. And how did you navigate that? When you look back on your time, like, how would you assess it now that you've had some time to sit back and hindsight 2020 it, having all that change at Syracuse, having all these different coaches and teammates leaving and whatnot? How did you deal with the fact that things were constantly being disrupted in your life? Change can be disruptive at times.
kind of just went with it. This kind of a little quote that popped in my head from another Cuse alum, Jay Bromley. He used to, I'll never forget this. He told me one time, and it just really stuck. He said, football and life are a lot alike because you have to make the uncomfortable comfortable. And, you have transitions in life, and it feels uncomfortable. Any transition from a new job, moving, new relationship, promotion or demotion or whatever. It's an uncomfortable, weird situation, and you have to still keep going. Same thing with football. So when it came to practice and to life, it was just, I'll just take this as a challenge to make this uncomfortable as comfortable as possible, as fast as possible, which is, learning the playbook first and foremost, getting the strength needed to run the style, getting the conditioning, kind of getting your mindset for how you need to be, because each kind of coach, offensive coordinator kind of brings a different mentality and approach to the game. So to answer that for me personally, it was trying to make the comfortable uncomfortable, and then I still carry that. I mean, on today, I feel like wrestling is what we do. What I do is a lot like that too. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of changes, especially going into a match. You might have 10 minutes going into it, and then right before you go out, they cut your 10 minutes from 10 to 7. And then when you're out there, they cut it from 7 to 5. And you need to figure out how to make, what you were going to do fit the time slot here, what the time slot you have, which again is making it uncomfortable comfortable. So I think for me, it was just the challenge of trying to be at the top of the depth chart, of trying to get playing time, trying to get better, and trying to impress these coaches that were meeting me for the first time.
Omari Palmer here with us inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's Cafe Cubal Studios. What made you want to do this? What made you want to get into the WWE? You said that when you were at Syracuse, you were saying, hey, if football doesn't work out or whenever football ends, I'm going to the WWE. When did your passion for wrestling begin? And why was this the avenue? Why was this the place you needed to be?
I've always liked wrestling. I was fortunate to grow up in one of the greatest eras of wrestling in the Attitude Era, getting to see, kind of like the back end of Stone Cold and The Rock, and then Triple H, and then going to see John Cena, and then the start of the highlight premier players now, like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and things of that nature. I got to see all of Brock's career. So I always kind of cling to it. Growing up, I had the toys, and I would play with my friends and my sisters with it or whatever, with all the action figures. And throughout college, I always played the game, and I always bought the games every year. Always had fun with that, making my creative player and doing GM mode. And, I always had fun watching the pay-per-views. I've kind of always been a lifelong fan. I figured, the type of person I am, I have a lot more personality than I show often. I'm kind of calm in person, but I have like another side of me, that's kind of hype, rah. So I figured that'd be fun to see, and that'd be fun to play with, and it'd be a good time to kind of be able to live that creative character that I've been making for so long.
Not everybody gets to do this. I'm sure there's kids all over the world that created a character and got a bunch of pillows out there and took the cushions off the couches and got everything ready, and were trying to body slam their brothers and sisters and whatnot. So what do you think was the difference? Like for you, what was the secret sauce to not just be another kid saying, I would love to do this, but to actually do it? What do you think for you made your dream a reality?
I'm gonna start off saying, God, luck, things happen. I was very lucky. I was fortunate to have, the injury, how I had it, when I had it. I was fortunate to bump into some people that kind of pushed me towards that direction and to be in the right place for it. I got to train at a really good wrestling school, Creative Pro Wrestling, out in Hicksville, Long Island, prior to getting down to my WWE tryout. And then outside of that, me, individual, the things that I control, I think just being me. When you're around people, you can kind of tell when someone's being genuine or not. And, for better or for worse, I've always kind of just been me. And you could talk to people on the team. I'm sure there was tons of people that didn't like me. And there's tons of people that did like me. But at the end of the day, I was the same around all of them, my families, my friends, people I did or didn't like. So I think that was something that they kind of saw. And in the world I'm in now, things tend to work a bit more fluid when you're with people that are real and genuine and a bit easier to work with and a bit less egotistical, which is kind of a useful asset to have for what I do.
So you're saying there's less of an ego in the WWE than you saw in college football?
I believe so. I think so. I think, it's a little different. I'm an offensive lineman, so my approach to the team aspect and the ego thing is different. You don't have to have my name up in lights for me to understand and see the work that I'm doing and to see how it affects the team positively. Granted, I'm in a more individual sport and profession now, but I feel like in what I do now, just because the nature of the beast and the inner workings of what we do is a bit less egotistical for people. Everyone's different. Some people kind of take everything to the head. I've been fortunate. I've met people here. I've been blessed to meet people here that's been, from top to bottom, from meeting, Roman Reigns to John Cena to, Braun Breaker with the current NXT champion. Everyone's been kind and respectful. And so I've been blessed to get a good side of it. But yeah, I'd have to say less egos, in my opinion. In a few years, we might talk and that might change. And I might say completely other stuff. But for now, in my 3 years, it's been less. I think I'm not saying the football team had egos, especially not at Cuse. I felt like we were a brotherhood and we worked together. And, we went through all the trials and tribulations together. But I think this is just almost, I don't know if it's the money being involved or what, but it's just a little bit less. You kind of want to be able to work with people and kind of want to be able to be used consistently. And being egotistical isn't the persona you really want to carry with you all the time.
You talk about 3 years so far wrestling. The in-between, you finished up at Syracuse in 20, you were there 2012, you came in redshirted, then there 2012, 2016. And then you're saying, the past 3 years. So there's that in between. What happened in your life in the in between of finishing college football and then joining the WWE?
First was really finishing. It took me a bit longer. I hate to admit it, but after I broke my leg my last year, that last semester, I wasn't really into school. Like my mind wasn't into going to class. I wasn't trying to hop down the stairs and go over there. I kind of, not that I didn't care. It's just that wasn't important to me. So 2017 was really kind of getting my mind right. I did the semi-pro, which was great, which I had a fun time with. Shout out to Long Island Panthers, some kids I grew up with in high school, and it was nice to win a championship with my friends and my people from my community. So that was fun. And then a bit after that, I was kind of working to do other things. I was doing background extras, some movie stuff, like filming production kind of things. And then out of nowhere, I met someone that was like, yeah, I could get you a tryout for the WWE. Surprisingly enough, he was friends with Mark Henry. So that was kind of interesting. The person that I'm similar to is the person that he knows to get me in. So it kind of was a roll of the dice, The cards just happened to lay in a nice way for me.
And with you, you said some background, extra work, some acting work and whatnot. How did you get involved with that? Because I have, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but I've been a background extra. I'm one of the people that made it into the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm actually in the chase scene with all the NYPD vehicles where Paul Giamatti, who becomes the Rhino, is leaving in the 18-wheeler, and I come out of the alleyway. I'm one of 5 guys that does. So I know what it's like to do that, but I also know what it's like when you're trying to look for a job as an extra. You got to be careful because, not all the things are necessarily real. So how did you find work as a background extra, and how did you know that it was, legit at the time?
So I met a friend that sent me, they were filming for Paterno, the Paterno movie, and they needed
good movie,
ex-college players, and they were filming in my area. So I had a friend that sent that to me. I went in, I did it. I had a few roles. I was lucky. I got a few more roles than other people did. I wasn't just in the background. I have a few in the foreground. I did some extra scenes for them that they ended up not airing. And one of the guys that worked there, we had to do, it was funny, actually, we had a tryout prior because they wanted people who looked like athletes, and I wasn't that far removed. So like I was actually better at that point than I was, for pro day because I was healthier, further removed from the injury. So I'm doing this thing and we're doing, 40s bench drills, basically like a mini pro day. And the guy comes up to me, he's like, why are you here? Like, why aren't you trying out for, the NFL or something like that? And I was like, I explained my story, yada, yada, yada. And then he was like, well, after this, you need to start doing that more. And then after that, I did the first filming. They came up to me and they were like, hey, Omari, like, granted, I didn't do much. I did my little bit of extra, pads hitting and some extra cuts. But they were like, Omari, we really liked you. We'll bring you in every time we're in the area. I was like, cool. So after that, they just kind of messaged me a few times. Again, I hate to just keep saying dumb luck, but I happened to have a friend that saw it, sent it to me. They liked me. They said I was, easy to work with. I was where I needed to be. Did what I had to do with my, little scenes because other people, believe it or not, make it a lot. You do believe it. You've seen the process. Some people, especially as a background extra, you do something that you're not supposed to do, you ruin the whole scene. Now they're starting all over. And there was some guys that would do that a lot more often than not. But I did a few more shows with them, just a couple other scenes. And then after that, I got my hat thrown in with the WWE. And I figured, with the production, I don't know if they kind of knew me, because, it's all small world. And when you get into this production entertainment world, it gets even smaller. So I don't know who knew who, if someone was saying something good about me in a room I wasn't in or not. But after that, everything kind of was expedited. And next thing you know, I was moving to Orlando.
And it's so cool to see how, stories unfold and how small the world is, here with Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones, NXT in the WWE, former Syracuse offensive lineman, and here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cabal Studios. It's so amazing how things work. And my one buddy says this, and I know I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but he always says, why does it seem like people that are lucky continue to be more and more lucky, and people that work hard continue to have all this luck? And it's because luck stands for labor under correct knowledge, and that you put yourself in a good position. I mean, you say, dumb luck, but, if you're a good person and you're nice to people, and you talked about being genuine, if people like you or don't like you, you are who you are. So if people know, like, what you see is what you get, you're good to people, you're caring, you network, you don't burn bridges, it shouldn't surprise you, Omari, that you're chasing your dreams, you believe in God, you have a strong faith, you're good to people, you network, and you keep your options open, and you give that energy to the world. If you had that energy of having that open window to you, then eventually somebody's going to come through. If there's an open door policy, someone's going to walk through. I don't think it's luck as much as it is faith, belief, hard work, networking, and just having a spirit of openness to the possibilities that could be out there.
I mean, yeah, when you say it like that, that's what it is. When I met Joe Saladino was the man that got me in touch with the WWE, and he was like, I always see you. I was going to the gym, so at the time I was working security overnight, and after the overnight security, I would go. So I get off at 6. I would go to the gym about like 6:37, do about 45 minutes to an hour of cardio, go home, eat, sleep all day, wake up, and go back to the gym. And he would be there the same times I'm there. And I was doing this for about like 3 or 4 months, like religiously, like, because it was weekend work. So it was like I'd be in there. I was in the gym 6-7 days a week. And he comes up to me, he's like, why are you like, what are you like working so hard for? Are you like train? Like, I'm like, I'm trying to get my strength back. I got semi-pro CFL tryout coming up, yada, yada, yada. He's like, man, I see you in here. You should try out for the WWE. And I laughed because literally the night before, at work, before I went in that day that he told me to try out, I was looking up wrestling schools because I wanted to leave. I couldn't be home. My parents aren't like strict or anything, and they gave me my space and my freedom. But in my mind, out of college, 22, 23, 24, I shouldn't be home. Like, I shouldn't be under the house, like under their roof. I got to at least try to do things. So I was going to pack up, save up, go down to Maryland, start training, but boom, someone caught me right before, and things kind of lucked out. Like you said, open door policy. I was open to it, receptive to it, and doing things towards that nature without even really noticing. Just kind of the constant working out and the little bit of background and production extra things I did. And I had a few voiceover things and stuff I played with, but it was interesting to kind of see it all come to fruition, and how it kind of happened together was pretty awe-inspiring, to be honest.
So again, not luck, just working your tail off for 6 months, putting yourself out there in the gym. Joe sees you over and over and over again, says you should try out. So he says you should try out for the WWE. Bring me into when you tried out and the process of it all.
Okay. So I sent in the paperwork. So I met Joe. It was a bit after the holiday. So I'll say the beginning of February or March. I sent in the March 2018. I sent in the paperwork, and the process began. They had the tryout in June 2018. I kind of went all in because at the time I was doing, so I kind of just changed my schedule a lot. I had the overnight that I was working, and I was doing like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I would do like another gig on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I would have like 2 kind of different jobs, and the only training classes they had were Tuesday and Thursday. So on Tuesday and Thursday, I would drive. On Thursday, I would drive. So Tuesday, I would go to work and then drive straight to training and then go home, which was in Hicksville. So it was like about an hour west of me. And then on the Thursdays, I would drive to the training, which was an hour west, and then drive an hour and a half, 2 hours back east to Riverhead, because where I was working was past it. So I was doing the little bit of training and then going to work. I ended up being late a few times, got fired from work. But, like I said, I went all in the training. Had the tryout June 2018. And, before I didn't even do a drill yet, talked a little bit, said, hey, we're going to sign you, don't do anything crazy. Don't get hurt. They were like, you can kind of sit out the rest of the tryout. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that, because I want to show people I deserve to be here. I earned to be here. It's not a fluke. Like, this was a happening. So I did the whole tryout, and then got my paperwork about September 2018, moved in fully by February 2019. And I've been there since.
So we're literally celebrating your 3-year anniversary of pro wrestling at WWE here in February. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
I guess you waiting as long as you waited to get back on Facebook was a good thing, so we could celebrate your 3-year anniversary.
Yeah. And it works out too, because back then, I'm still a nobody, but I was a little bit less of a nobody, new to the world, and now it's a bit more established and a bit more to talk about than before.
Well, and the thing that's so exciting is, so many people, think about this too and want to try out and whatnot. And to be a part of this, bring me into the tryout itself. Like, can anybody, like you said, when you talked to Joe, you had to fill out the paperwork. How do you get the paperwork? Can anybody try out? Do you have to do something? You have to send in paperwork and film, and then they have to call you to try out. Like, bring me into the process of all of this and what it actually looks like.
First things first, you need a referral. So no one gets a tryout without someone in the company. I'm not exactly sure which tier. Like, I'm not sure if I could give out referrals, but a higher up in the company gives a referral to mark you in as their, tryout, like tryee, I guess. I don't know how many people each of them get, but first is a referral. Then from there, you send in, via internet on applications you could send in, like on the online, I'm pretty sure it has like a WWE.com/application, like, to apply. And then you kind of send in a resume. My resume was basic. It was a quick list of kind of sports and accolades from high school to college, a little bit of what I did after college. So I talked about, my production, the background extra stuff, and a little bit of voiceover stuff I did. And then whatever kind of things you wanted. At the time, I was upper body strong because I was doing so much upper body. that like I put like a bench or like a video of me benching like 450 for 3 real quick or something like that. And then kind of like just height, weights, parameters, things of that nature. So yeah, it's pretty I'm shocked how kind of basic it was. But again, when you go in, because there's so many people you have to sift through, when you go in, they kind of pick and they look for what they're looking for, the it factor or whatnot.
So how many layers when you go to try? Where did you go to try out? And then what were like the layers of going through? Because I kind of liken it to, in its own way, like American Idol. People say, oh, you just like walk in and see the judges. And it's like, no, you go through like 7 different processes. Like you see 7 different groups, and the 7th group are those judges that we're used to seeing on camera, the Katy Perrys and Simon Cowell's at the time, and so on and so forth. So, and Luke Combs and whatnot. So bring me into, where did you have to go for the tryout? And when you went there, what was the process like? Was it multiple days? Was it everything in one day, but like you had to see this group and then this group and then this group? Like, bring me into that.
The tryout was it was brutal. It was not meant to be easy for anyone. It was 3 days straight. I believe there's kind of like 2 kind of sifting, because not everyone who sends it in obviously gets accepted to the trial or to that specific tryout. They're feeding the machine so much that it's just like college. You're constantly bringing in other people, constantly looking for other people. So I was fortunate to get a tryout that was pretty quick to me applying. But you go down, it's about 3 days. You'll do, let's say you get there, let's say it's like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday kind of thing. You'll get there on like a Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, you might do a quick little introductory kind of promo. I didn't really have to do a promo. I just had to say, who I am, where I'm from, why do I want to be here, what makes me stand out. Kind of just talking in front of the camera just to kind of see how you present yourself in a way, or to see how you handle, all eyes on you kind of thing. And then after that, it was a grueling first day of a whole bunch of stuff, mainly rolls and movement kind of drills. We did that for about 2-3 hours, rapid fire, basically running between a few rings, multiple rings. Mind you, this is when I went. Everyone's trial is different. I hear the process is a bit longer now. So I was fortunate to come. When I came, I got there just in time. But yeah, so that was the first day, and you had to do basically 2 days every day. So you would do, I think it was about 5 or 7 hours worth of kind of sitting there and training and rolling. It was tough. I remember the first day. After the first day, I remember my roommate on the tryout, he got hurt. He like popped his shoulder out. A lot of people went down like flies. I was a little banged up going into the tryout, so I was very gingerly. I kind of did something a little too extra in practice going into it, trying to push myself too much and do too much. So I was a little banged up, but I remember coming in every day from the tryout and just sitting there in a tub full of ice and like, ice in my knees, ice in my legs, just because it was a lot. It was a lot, about 2 or 3 days of that. And it's really kind of just whenever you do things like this, especially in the world we're in, because you could always, just like football, I could teach you how to learn the techniques, the playbook. I can't teach you to be an athlete. I can't teach you to feel comfortable in your own skin. I can't teach you to have the instincts and the awareness to understand the parameters of the ring, just like the parameters of the football field. Certain things I can't teach you. So I think they kind of look for specific intangibles that, their eyes have, because a lot of the coaches, they've been doing it for, longer than I've been alive. So they know kind of what they're looking for, or what needs to be seen in certain people. And that's kind of what they do to kind of sift through, just like a lot like a football camp. I remember going to Q's camps, and they bring the kids up and have them kind of run around, and you kind of see not only how they compete, how many plays they make, how they bounce back after a bad play. Like, that's just as important as how you are from a good play. And it's kind of the same thing, just seeing how people react how people interact with each other. Are they positive for other people? Do you see someone when someone else gets cheered for, or someone else gets a compliment? Do you see them cheer as well, or do you see them sulk in the back and say, I did it better type thing? So it's just things like of that nature that they kind of look out for.
So this is all down in Orlando?
Yeah, this is in the Performance Center down in Orlando.
So going through this in these 3 days, were there like somebody coming in there in the middle of day one? They're like, hey, get out of here, go home. Like day two, go home. Like, were they cutting people as they went?
So, a lot of times, especially what they do, they kind of don't have to cut people because people kind of sift themselves out. The first people that always go are the ones that aren't really in shape. So their body will get hurt. Boom, instantly. They're nagging or cramping on the first day. They weren't cutting by day, but people would, like I said, sift them out. Some people were getting hurt. Some people would be in there and just be like, hey, I don't like this. Like, I don't like the roles. I don't like being screamed at. I don't like, how you're treating me. Some people just left. No, I don't remember anyone particularly getting kicked out, but I do remember it going from 75 people the first day to about like 60, 63. So 12 to 15 people gone after 7 hours of work.
And it says a lot. And you've been through it with playing football, so you get that and you understand that. So I'm sure that helps you. Where does football parallel? Where does it help? Where do you think that being a football player has assisted you in where you are today in the WWE?
That's a good question. As I'm starting to get into this world, this wonderful world of wrestling, I'm starting to understand more and more that it is a lot like football, and I think the comparisons are better, compared to life. Football is one of those real pride kind of sports, especially in college. The best man doesn't always win. The man that wants it more wins. I'd say when it comes to the grit and grind, even though our world is different and it's not a natural competition and not, a different kind of competition between one another, there's still a certain level of heart you got to have to get through it and to do it. First things first, physically, it's different kind of strain than football, but it's exhausting. It's extremely difficult, extremely focus oriented. You slip up. If I mess up or do something wrong, God forbid I seriously injure the person I'm working with. When you talk about what is similar to football, I think there's a few. I'll start with teamwork. We're working in there together to put on this performance, to put on a spectacle. So that's one, because it takes two to tango, really three, because the ref is in there as well. So that's one thing. Two, I think effort. And when I say effort, in football, it's just outright effort, just giving your all. In wrestling, I think it's more of effort and creativity and kind of commitment to it, which is, the diet, which is looking the certain size and parameters that you want to look or what you want to represent your character, bringing in, moves and promos, terminology, words, things to kind of make you stand out in comparison to others. So I think for now, I'm going to say the camaraderie and the effort. It's like I said, it's a different kind of effort, but you're still working very hard and being creative and doing things, especially this long into the business. Me being new and kind of only seeing people from the past, it's hard to think outside of the box and the parameters that's set. But, that's a challenge we have as WWE superstars, is to push the envelope.
Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones, here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios. The more we talk, the more I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. There's so many things I want to know. What I'm upset about is that Florida is my second home. It's the second hub of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and my company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, my first home, Central and Upstate New York and the Syracuse area and whatnot. I was just down in Orlando, so I'm upset with myself that we didn't link up. But I am always down in Orlando, so definitely got to make this happen. I got to ask you, you talked about having the it factor. What do you think is your it factor? What did the WWE see in you? Because you can train, you can get your body right, you can do this right or do that right, you can follow directions well, you could deal well with the pressure, deal well with people being negative towards you. You could have done everything right, but if you didn't have that it factor, that thing that separates you that they think that they can sell, then you wouldn't be a part of it. So what is the it factor of Omari Palmer, aka Odyssey Jones?
I think for me personally, I'll say two things. For me personally, my willingness to be an individual. I mean, I've been laughed at, I've been embarrassed, I've been, the other side of it. I've been praised, I've been hated and loved prior to being here. So, I learned real quick that being me is my best bet with everything. And then outside of that, something that all of us have in common, I feel, is confidence. What we do, especially in individualized professions where it's kind of you and you out there, you just gotta trust yourself. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta be able to exuberate that you know what you're doing, where you're at, where you're supposed to be, that you belong, that you're not just another person in the crowd. And I think everyone shows it in their own way, and everyone learned how to grow that their own way. I was fortunate with, football that kind of got my confidence. I've had more negative things on the field than I can remember from positives because, the negatives stick a bit harder. But yeah, for me, individuality and my willingness to be myself through and through, whether you like me or not, or, laugh at me or with me, and my confidence in being myself.
How do you not care? I think that that's the biggest question of any entertainer. You're in the entertainment world. I'm in the entertainment world. There's a lot of things I want to do. Stand-up comedy is a huge part of something that I interject into so many things. But people keep saying to me, why don't you get up on the stage? Just do it. Just stand up there. Like, you make us all laugh. So get up there, grab the microphone and do it. And I tell people, in that world, there's hecklers. In the world of a broadcaster, there's hecklers. In the world of a wrestler, there's hecklers. In the world of an athlete, there's hecklers. Movie, when it comes to actors and actresses, when it comes to musicians and singers and whatnot, if you are in this world, which I liken to a football field, right? 70,000 seats, 22 players on the field. You and I are on the field. Everybody else, 70,000, they're watching. They have an opinion. I think it's like on the field is 0.00003% or something ridiculous like that. So how have you trained yourself to not care when you're yelled at, screamed at, spit at, laughed at, chastised, put down? They think you're stupid. They think it's ridiculous. They don't like your shtick. They don't like who you are. How do you deal with people not liking you because you are living the world of a stand-up comedian, of an actor, of a singer? You're on a stage by yourself. Mm-hmm. How do you do it?
Great question. For me personally, I have three things. One thing is, first and foremost, practice. I don't get nervous at the point I do it in front of a million people, because in my mind, when I'm working in the ring with my coworker, I'm working as if a million people's watching. Same thing is on the football field in my eyes. When you're in practice, you're practicing like it's the game. So even though there's no one there, the only difference is, the camera. What's the difference between something being recorded and shown to a million people or something being seen by a million people at once? So that's one, my practice. I never do or try anything that I haven't worked going into it. I'm not going to just pop up and say, we're going to do something new. Just like like I said, football, you're not going to have a new play the day of the game that you haven't practiced the week of the game. That's one. Two is understanding how fickle people are. I've had multiple times in my life, in high school and college. I think college is the easiest to talk about. Prior to the injury, I was supposed to go pro. I had scouts coming. People were giving me positive feedback. I was, starting to get the hang of Baber's offense and everything. And it was interesting to see how many people were supporting me and behind me, and how many people kind of wanted to gravitate towards me and be around me. And then being injured, it was a quick flip that it went from everyone to no one. So I went from, people with me to being by myself, people wanting to talk to me and be around me by myself. So like I kind of realized how fickle and shaky people are. And third, I'd say, failure. Once you fail, if that's the low, what you're already there. You've already been there. What's the if you've already been there, what's the fear of going out and doing something you want to do, something you want to try to do and be the best you could be at that point? Once you step out there and you start doing it, you can't really fail because you're already trying. Like I said, I've had dreams that I thought would come to fruition that didn't. And I accepted that. I looked at what I did wrong, try to be better, and then focus on the next thing. So I think failing and messing up and, kind of taking that stumble close to the finish line made it where it's a bit easier for me to run the marathon now.
I love that. And I love this conversation. I see your garb. I see, watching some videos here in the studio, and you got orange and blue on. On purpose?
Of course. I should have explained it more to my gear maker. I wanted it to be kind of Cuse orange and Cuse blue, but they kind of made it like a gator orange and blue. But of course, that's Syracuse through and through.
And seeing this, when you put this together, how much of the costuming is you and how much of it is a team working on it saying, hey, I know you want to do this, Omari, but let's tweak it a little bit?
For me, just with how I kind of been and how my career has been, everything's been me, from the character to the name, the move set. People gave me suggestions with move. I've tried things, so what I liked, what I didn't like. Gear has been all me. For the most part, I kind of put the idea down, come to creative and say, hey, how do you like this? Do you mind if I do this? Before when I first got here, I just brought the gear and I said, you know what? I'm going to just come out in the match and I'm going to wear this and I'm going to see what they do. The blue and orange, the checkered blue and orange is kind of obnoxious, but I love it. I think it just stands out, like it pops, but I've been fortunate. They've been a lot hands off with me and I've been kind of, doing what I envisioned for Odyssey, which is honestly what I love most about what I do, because there's like so much freedom, like creative freedom, just everything. I could do what I want to do, how I want to do it. There's certain ways that other people look at things and psychology for specific things, but for the most part, I get to do what I want to do, which is fun. And it's exciting to see the development and kind of the growth and change from where I was to where I am.
Yeah, and if you go to WWE.com/superstars/Odyssey-Jones, you can get the bio here of Omari Palmer's character, and it says, the charisma of larger-than-life newcomer Odyssey Jones is proving to be as massive as his frame. Armed with a startling combination of size and explosive speed, the self-professed quote-unquote future favorite has been making quite a splash in NXT and has particularly turned heads with his march to the 2021 NXT Breakout Tournament Final. Bring me into your thoughts on that description of you, and secondly, the fact that the kid that believed now has a profile on WWE.com.
Right? Who would have thought? I never really look into it. I kind of I try to ignore the noise because like it doesn't stop. The process doesn't stop. And sometimes when you see moments like this, you kind of get that little thought of, oh, I made it. But I never, that was my first time hearing it. That was kind of cool. I think it's cool because that's a lot of what I wanted to kind of portray and show, something different. I hate to talk about race and stuff, but when you're the large black man, you're always seen as the big angry guy. I'm not really an angry person. I've lived a great life. I've been blessed, highly favored. God's been taking care of me and my family. I got both my parents, so I'm not angry. To sit there and to fake that funk is difficult for me, especially now because I'm not the greatest of actors and I'm not the best with that kind of range yet. But I love it. I feel like that's how I envisioned the superstar, especially with me being the framework of it. That's why I envision larger than life charisma, larger than life frame, kind of something that's out of a movie, like a created character. You go in there, you put the sliders to the tallest weight, the biggest size, most strength, the quickest you can make them for that size, and then kind of go with it. So I think that's a kind of cool and fun kind of bio. I think it's funny that they said self-proclaimed. I definitely self-proclaimed it, but it's funny that nickname's kind of sticking and people are kind of talking about it and stuff, which is kind of cool.
What does future favorite mean to you?
Exactly what it sounds. I feel like being, and this might bite me in the ass, but I feel like being here as a talent, as a WWE superstar, my goal is to be the best, hands down. Like, after you come, you have to make people, I feel you have to make people that were before you talked about a little bit less. So, when Odyssey Jones came in, John Cena was great, but Odyssey Jones came in, I don't know, I kind of like him a bit better. The Rock was awesome, but I don't know, that pro Odyssey Jones cut was dope, man. I love it. Mm-hmm. And that's always kind of been my thing. So to hear that, when I hear future favorite, it's, to me personally, to always try to be that guy. I understand that not everyone gets their turn. Not everyone's meant to be the guy. But, maybe not right now, not this second, but I do feel I could be the guy. I do feel that I could have this $1 billion company on my back, and I do feel I could help it expand and go places that it hasn't been, and to grow and revenues and venues and areas that it hasn't been. So that's what, in my mind, what future favorite is to work to be, the number one on the PWI, the number one on, on Raw or SmackDown or just in the WWE brand. And just when you start saying WWE, you instantly say Odyssey Jones first.
Do you have an action figure yet?
No, I don't know. We'll see. I think that'd be kind of fun. I hope they do it with the blue and orange. That'd be really nice if they could do that. And it'd be cool if they could get the hair right too. That'd be pretty dope.
I'm gonna say they got to get the hair right. I'm watching, like I said, here in the studio, I'm watching as you took on two challengers back on September 21st of 2021. Some of your matches here. This one was incredible, how you're taking on and just kind of throwing these guys back and forth. I don't think they realized that, like, their bodies together was maybe one D lineman that you were used to.
Yeah, that I'm going against, right?
Because I'm watching you just, like, knock them both down, and I'm going, you understand, like, this is Omari's world. He was in the ACC. So bring me, that was an awesome match to watch. Do you have a favorite memory from there? Do you have any other matches that, maybe stick out to you? Because I'm kind of going through them here, and I know you answered Diamond Mine's open challenge back in October this past year.
That was fun.
So yeah, bring me into maybe what a favorite was or some of your memories.
So far, you named two of the best ones. Those I think were the more fun to watch. But I think my favorite match for myself was the breakout tournament finals with Carmelo Hayes, because that was kind of my first big match feel. Like, even though it wasn't for a belt, it felt like it was for a belt, and it was high energy. It was kind of one of my first times having a little bit of, not the focal point, but like a spotlight kind of shined on that match and that altercation. I think that was one of my more fun ones. Granted, it was a little while ago, so my newer ones might be better, but that one for me personally was an exciting moment. I didn't think I'd be in the breakout tournament. I didn't think I'd make it to the finals. So didn't get to bring it home with me, but I didn't really think it would happen like that and come to fruition like that. So that was fun, real fun.
Because this world of wrestling, WWE, it's an entertainment realm, right? So how much of this? How much do you really get to put into it? Obviously, you guys you can get hurt doing this. You can, your body's going into it. But to the people that say, everything's fake and it doesn't matter and it's not real, there's those people that state that, and then there's other people that are saying, hey, it's all choreography and that's all it is. How would you describe the WWE world? Because some people are in love with it and some people don't watch it at all. Some people think that there's no talent to it. You're just kind of told what you're doing. And other people think that there's an art to the dance. So how would you maybe dispel rumors and tell us the truth at the same time?
I mean, the only way to really dispel rumors is for you to come on the inner fold and really understand and see what we do firsthand, which we don't allow people to see often. But I'll say this, you know, you can't, there's a lot of realism to it. There's, you know, first things first, it's a story. It's a work of art for sure. It's an art form and a performance for sure. It's choreographed to an extent. Everyone works different. I think less is more. And, you know, we'll just get in the moment and go how we feel that our personas and how we would fight in an altercation or how we would go at it. But to dispel that, I'd say, you know, it's art. It's a story to be told. It has a flow that I never fully understand, that I'm getting closer to and understanding and grasping more, all of it with the back and forth and the exchanges, the cutoffs, the heats, the comebacks, finishes, and everything to really get the people going. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. Just like how you go out and on NFL, you know, you watch those games, people say conspiracy theories that it's faked, it's rigged or whatever, but it's, you know, these men out here giving their all for what they do. And it's another form of entertainment. You know, they might be in a bigger stage, more padding and everything, but they're gladiators too. We go at it too. Injuries really happen. You know, I'm hurt right now. I had something unfortunate happen, and it happens to a lot of people, unfortunately. But that's part of life, and that's what comes into really anything with the kind of physical activity we have. So to counter that, I'd say you'd have to be a part of it to truly understand the magic, but you haven't earned the right to understand the magic, you know?
And I think the thing that's cool is too, I mean, there, you know, like you said, winning a belt, you know, having a title and whatnot, there's storylines to be told. Like you said, there's magic to be told. But in football, you know, if you do your job and you do what you need to do and you keep winning, you get to the championship. Is there more to the story, so to speak, in the sense of how in control of you being a champion in wrestling do you think is in your hands?
That's a good question. I think not so much, but enough. I think, like I said, at the end of the day, the job is to get the people going. If you come out there positively or negatively and you truly influence the people, you know, you got to respect that. You know, the end of the day, it's a business. They could look at the statistics of who's watching per segment chunk. You could see who's bringing in more viewers. You could see who's selling more merch. You could see who's being searched more on YouTube. I definitely think there's a correlation between that and having the championship, but the championship belt. But you know, it's really up to higher up. It's really up to where the story's going. And there's so many things. So many things that goes in with that, you know. Like I said before, there's always someone saying something good and or bad about you in a room that you're not in. So you just hope that there's more people saying good than bad in those rooms that you're not represented. And, you know, a lot of things of that nature kind of thing. So, yeah, I think to an extent it's partially, you know, ownership and upfront what they're going to do in production, but it's also kind of how the people respond to you and where you fit in, you know, the card and the roles and what role you have to fill, because everyone has a niche they have to fill for the time being.
That coming from Odyssey Jones, Omari Palmer here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You said it earlier, and I do a little bit different, but it's called the same thing. It's called rapid fire. I'm going to fire a bunch of questions at you quickly here. Want to get your first answer in closing of our conversation with Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones, from WWE NXT, currently in our time of conversation inside of the Cafe Kubal studios here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So here we go. Favorite wrestler of all time?
Mysterio.
Favorite current wrestler?
That's tough. Favorite current? I like this new side of Brock that we see. I like this new Brock. He looks very he looks fun. He looks like rejuvenated, like he's enjoying it and loose. It's fun to watch new Brock.
Scariest wrestler to watch growing up?
Boogeyman.
Okay.
It's just nasty.
Who, if you could have a match with anybody living, who would you choose to match up with in WWE? Go against?
So someone who's on the roster now?
Yes.
Omos.
Why?
Show him who the real Big O is, baby. Come on.
Who of wrestlers that have passed on is there a wrestler you'd love to go up against?
Dusty Rhodes.
Okay.
The American Dream.
Which wrestler would you love to be on a team with?
Team with?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Team with who do I feel? I think granted he's not. I think Keith Lee. I think it would have been fun to work with Keith Lee. I think we're two really super athletic big men, and we have even though we're both babyface, we still have our own individual kind of personalities and dichotomy that I felt like we could have played with and had some fun with. And I think it would have been entertaining because we would have been able to do some really cool stuff. And I could have learned a lot from that brother. But Keith Lee would have been one person I would have loved to work with.
Who is the face of wrestling right now?
The face of wrestling, Roman Reigns.
Why?
He's the big dog. He's doing everything right every which way that I know and I've been taught, and then some.
Favorite match if you got to be in WrestleMania? What would you want to do?
WrestleMania. I'd love to do a match against a celebrity or an athlete. I think that'd be kind of cool, even if it would be like a singles match against a football player or like a tag match against someone. I think that'd be really fun to do and to go at it. I think it'd be real cool to have one of those ex-NFL guy or NFL guy, just because the size thing would be really fun to see and we could do a lot of cool stuff together.
What NFL player would you go up against in WrestleMania, and what celebrity?
NFL player have to be Aaron Donald. I gotta get him back. Celebrity. Whoo! What's a fun celebrity to go against? Fun celebrity. These are some good questions I never really thought of. A celebrity. I'm trying to think of something new, but I hate to say this. The Jackass group, just I'd love to take on like 5 of them in like a no holds bar, like cage match with weapons, and we just kind of go at it and find some stuff to do, and we could do some wildness. That would be pretty funny. I'm thinking about, a little man flying through the sky, doing something. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty funny.
If you could be in, you talk about doing extra work and doing some acting work. If you could be in any superhero or villain movie, which one would you choose to be in and why? As the villain or the villain or the hero or I'd like to be in I think it'd be cool to be in the Fantastic Four if I was Ben Grimm, just because it'd be different. I could be the Thing, and it'd be shitty to have all the makeup on, but it'd be kind of cool to see me with like all that stuff on and kind of doing stuff. I think that'd be kind of cool and different to experience. Well, I said this about a year ago, and I talked about it, and I'm the type of person, I believe I could do anything, and I know you believe that too in yourself. I believe faith in God, dedication, determination, hard work, confidence, faith, just putting it all together, that you can do that, and the talent that you have. There's nothing I think I can't do. And I thought about this, and I know that Marvel's got a ton of characters, and there's a ton with opportunities with the X-Men coming in and Fantastic Four and all that. You just said Ben Grimm, the Thing. I put out there, and I put it out there publicly, that I would be more than happy to play Human Torch. So it'd be really... Hey, who knows? We might be onto something here. That'd be pretty cool to be the Human Torch and have my guy as the thing there, and then you and I could be 50%, and then they can keep John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. That's fine. I know they want that. So
yeah.
And so, okay, couple more final ones here. Your entrance song, "Larger Than Life." How did you put it together?
So that was actually my second entrance song.
Second one, yeah.
I had the first one was "Sound the Alarm." I picked "Sound the Alarm." They have a whole they have a studios, and they have a whole bunch of songs you kind of put in. Like I typed what I wanted. I wanted to be upbeat. I wanted to have I wanted to be upbeat but aggressive, but I wanted to be upbeat so it could be like a positive kind of aggressiveness. I feel like when you come out aggressive and slow, it's kind of an angry kind of thing. And it needed to have words and it needed to have a beat drop. And I gave that to the first one. I found my song, and then I think they couldn't get the licensing for it or whatever with it. And they brought me another song. I came in one day to do the match and they played the song. And I was like, who is this? And they're like, this is your new song. I was like, cool. They're like, you like it? I'm like, it's better than having no song. I'll find a way to make it work, man. I'll figure it out and adjust my interest accordingly and hit my cues for, this 30 seconds into the song, I'll be here, get the camera there. 45 seconds into the song, I'll be that turnbuckle, get the camera there. So I just took it, ran with it. I'm still trying to get the words for it. When I'm in the moment, it's kind of hard to listen to it. So I'm still kind of playing it in my car every now and then so I can really know it and kind of rap it a bit and have some fun with it.
It's cool to hear that you're still getting to know this song and getting to, and you're still creating.
Yeah.
Favorite thing about being an entertainer?
The freedom. Even though, there's certain key points you have to get to, and there's certain character traits that you have to have for your, in movie production and what I do now. I think there's still kind of the creative freedom of being the individual and kind of understanding your character and changing it and altering it to kind of make it, a bit different, a bit better, a bit unique, a bit new. A perfect example of that is John Cena in Peacemaker. I heard he made the character bisexual, which was just another talking point for the father to be mad at him. And it just added to the story and added some depth to it, which I think is kind of cool when you have that freedom to kind of alter things and change it to just, add more to it, add more content and more context to how the person is and the personality.
Why should the WWE take you and raise you up from the NXT?
I said it too many times already, but the most important thing is to get the people going. And I promise you, Odyssey Jones gets the people going. And that's just the fact of the matter.
That coming from Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones, WWE NXT, and the future is bright. Appreciate you so much on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. I'm so happy we finally got it done, Omari, but there is so much more to this, and I really hope that you'll be open to the opportunity of you and I working together on some other stuff.
Of course, man. I'd love to come back and talk about Cuse. I was hoping we'd talk more about some Cuse football than me. I was a little upset about that, but that'd be fun to come back and talk about some where we're at.
I got to promote where you're at right now.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Got to show you that love there. So let's do the quick, since you said let's do the quick thing here. Favorite Syracuse memory, and where do you think Syracuse football is at today?
Favorite Cuse memory would have to be, this is a throwback. This is a real throwback. So favorite Cuse memory I was physically a part of, like on the field, or just there for it?
Yeah, I would tell. I mean, either or. I would love to hear one of you actually being there. But if there's something that you were there for, you want to mention as well.
So the one that I was a part of, I was my redshirt junior year when we started off 3-0 and winning that. What was that, Central Michigan game right before we played LSU? That was a really good moment. It was a tough game. It shouldn't have been as close as a game. First 3-0 start in a while for Syracuse. We were real excited going into LSU. That happened, and we all know how that went. And another moment that I was at, this is a two-parter, to be honest. My redshirt my freshman year, my true freshman year, the last year in the Big East. It was exciting to beat Louisville in the Dome. That was so much fun. That was probably one of my best weekends of my life. And it was very exciting to play West Virginia and win that bowl game, especially going into the dinner. I'll never forget. We go into the team dinner. We have like a team dinner a few days before the game. And, we're all in our suit and tie, professional, ready to eat and do business. They come in jumpsuits. They're all drunk and talking shit to us. And it was really good to go out there and hear them talk shit and then to just whack them. It was a tough day for them. We really beat up on them boys back then. So that was fun. That was a good time.
Yeah, I think West Virginia's run their mouth on Syracuse and lost 4 in a row. So
yeah.
And they're also the ones that warm up the bus and leave before they do post-game interviews after Syracuse beats them.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Stub V.
What'd you say?
Stub V, I expect it from them.
So what's the advice you have for the team right now?
Buy in fully. I was only with Coach Babers for 1 year. I'm wishing them the best. I really want them to excel. He always manages to get the big win every season, which is so much fun to watch. But I'd love for them to have another season where they kind of take that extra step and kind of, just show that they're the real deal and just show the consistency, with the recruiting and everything, but really just buy in. If y'all are all fully believing in what you're doing and y'all are all consciously working towards the same goal, I promise you it gets so much easier to get to that goal.
You had Doug Marone, you had Scott Schaefer, you had Dino Babers. What did you learn from having 3 coaches, head coaches?
There's a lot of ways to win and there's a lot of ways to lose. Because I haven't had the greatest career, but
can I ask
I learned
your least favorite thing from each coach? Can I ask you that too?
Least and most favorite
of each coach, yeah.
Most favorite from Marone was just the professionalism. It felt like NFL. It was ran different. The team was different that year. Granted, that was my first year, only year with him. Least favorite was that he left. I wish he stayed. My most favorite with Schaefer and those 3 years were the mindset we had. We as a team, we were dogs. Even if we were losing, I felt we consistently played hard those 3 years, both sides of the ball. Least favorite, those 3 years was not getting a big win. I felt like there was games that we should have, I think of Clemson when we were playing at Clemson and lost by 3. I think of LSU in the Dome. I think of, we had a close game with Florida State in the Dome. They were ranked 1 year. We had a close game up till the end against Penn State in MetLife. So I wish we got the big win. My favorite thing with Babers was the energy. He had a lot of high energy, talk La Familia, and just he was just so positive. The whole staff, top to bottom, strength coach, everyone, they just were so positive, and you could kind of tell that it was like it felt like genuinely positive. One thing I didn't like was can I say getting hurt that year? I mean, it upsets me that year because I watched the rest of that season. Granted, I wasn't on around the team as much, which I regret, but I was just so upset in my own mind because I knew my year and was over. But watching that year, I knew damn, man, if I was there, we win a couple more games and we're in a bowl game. I had no doubt about it. If I played the whole season, I think we go 6-6. I remember playing, I think it was after I got hurt, a season or two after I got hurt. And then I think the next week we beat UConn and then we played Wake Forest. And I remember Wake Forest kept doing this blizzard blitz, this strong safety blizzard blitz, and it kept getting home because the youngins on the O line, because we were kind of young that year, we kind of just fumbled the bag a bit with it. Just because I've been through there more and I've seen it so much, I would have been able to sit on it more and help more, and just I felt like I would have just bought more, and I was still kind of getting acclimated to Babers. The year before we went from the slowest offense to try to be one of the fastest offenses, which took me a while to adjust. And when I started adjusting, then I got hurt. So, yeah, I think being hurt and kind of letting the team down and not being there for the season, I think whether they acknowledge it or not, or, I think I would have made a big difference. Those few games, I think a few close games would have swung our way if I was there.
And I want to run the gamut here. You had a ton of running backs on this team, from Irv Phillips, Prince Tyson Gully, George Morris, Devontae McFarland, as well as Adonis Amin Moore that you had on the squad here. You had a lot of different guys when it comes to talent, just naming off these gentlemen. And, and some of the other ones I want to make sure that I mention here, Dante Strickland as well, Mo Neal, Jordan Fredericks, and so on and so forth. My guy, Jacob Hill. How would you describe the running backs you blocked for?
They run hard. They run real hard. I'm not going to sit there and act like they had the best offensive lines in front of them, but a lot of them made things work. I remember, Jordan Fredericks, he was a freshman All-American. That young man ran hard. Prince Tyson Gully, Rome, they ran hard. AD, I think he ran the hardest. Those guys, I remember plenty of times where I wasn't the greatest up front, and, they kind of fixed my mistake and kind of saved my ass if it was me, sliding the wrong way or getting beat or whatever. They made me look, good at whatever that's for. But they kind of helped out and made me, they picked up my slack a lot, and I appreciate them. They all was hardworking dudes back in the day.
Adonis Amin Moore, one of my favorite Syracuse players of all time, good friend of mine, and somebody who I told him his face looks just like one of my favorite rappers of all time, Mace. So, so I got to ask you this: was Adonis misused at Syracuse? Do you think that they could have done better with him? Because I come from the school that I don't think that they fully even scratched the surface of what they could have done with him.
Yeah. I think I could agree with that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he was like Colorado State Player of the Year out of high school. My man had in his high school career, he had over 8,000 or 9,000 rushing yards. Granted, it's high school, but he was a good back. He ran hard. I think what also happened too with him was the timing. I think with people leaving, with the coaching staff changing, because he was just a year older than me. In Marone's offense, Adonis would have been solid because it would have been, more tight ends in there, a bit more pro style of an offense. I think when the offense kind of changed and we kind of went to the pistol kind of motion, speed option kind of thing, that wasn't really his forte. I think he was just the product of, because I agree with you. I think he was real good because he was one of those cats that would run and he would make a hole. Nothing's tougher than when you're blocking for someone and the play has them to be left and they're over to the right. So you always knew where AD was or where he was supposed to be. But yeah, I could agree with that. I think, like I said before, timing. I think if Marone was here longer, I think the running back room would have been more of a two-headed monster with Tyson and AD. If he had another year or two there, I think Marone had the O-line pretty solid. I think things would have been a bit different, but hindsight's 2020. I feel like I could sit here and pick apart everything and find something wrong with everything, but you can't control those things.
Terrell Hunt, Eric Dungy, where do they sit for you in history? Obviously different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What's your take on Terrell and on Dungy?
I mean, both good quarterbacks, both made things happen. I feel bad for T, banged up back to back. No one ever wants to end their career with two, season ending injuries back to back. So that's rough. Dungy, I could say this though. Dungy was one of the better quarterbacks I played with. He used to make crazy plays. Back in the day, I used to do like when my sophomore junior year, I used to rep ones and twos. So I got to be with Dungy a lot. I'd do the twos because I was like two different positions. I was like starting guard and then like second string tackle and had to like move over and rotate and shit. But I remember being on the field in practice with Dungy and him making plays that, that kid should not have made. And he was damn good. He was a real good athlete. I was actually really upset when I found out he didn't get into an all-star game coming out of college. I was like, whoa, that's, that was that year. I think there was only like 30 or so quarterbacks putting in for the draft. And I was like, there's no way there's 20 quarterbacks, better than you that you can't be in at least one all-star game. But Eric was really good. He was a damn good quarterback.
And a couple final notes here. Defensive lineman, McKinley Williams, Chris Slayton, Josh Black, Stephen Clark, Kendall Coleman, the list of guys that you had the opportunity to go up against. I want to go to some more here because there's such a long list of guys to mention on this defensive line, but also to make note of some of the other ones here that I want to make sure I don't miss, that being Micah Robinson, Zeke Johnson, Rob Welsh, as well as Trayvon Trejo, Chris Slayton, if I didn't say him before, and Marcus Coleman, and so on and so forth. What can you tell me about the D lineman that you went up against? Who was the biggest monster? Like, who was the guy you could not stand facing in practice? And so I'm going to ask you a couple things about the D-line of the guys I named, and if there's anybody I missed, I didn't mean to. So who was the one that you never wanted to go up against in practice? And then who's the one that talked the most trash? And then who's the one you pancaked the most? They could all be the same, but I want to know.
Oh, that's tough. Okay. First, the hardest to go against was definitely Bromley.
Okay.
My freshman year, when I was on the scout team, I had to follow him everywhere. So when he was doing 3-tech. If he'd go, to the right guard, over the right guard, I had to get up and go to the right guard and run the play. So like I had to go against him basically that whole year. So that was tough. He was one of the tougher guys to go against. You said who talked the most shit?
Yeah. I feel like my man Zeke Johnson's got to be in there. But,
I got a youngin' Zeke.
Yeah.
It might have to be between. It might have to be between Ron Thompson or Kroom. Kroom he could get at you, and he would make you sound real stupid. He'd say stuff, and you just be like, "What?" And then he'd just kick your ass anyway. So he was tough.
That's my man Kroom. The thing about Kroom is he's such a nice guy, and like he's great having on the show, and he's really humble, and he's always kind to me, and he's great like co-hosting stuff with. But then like you're telling me just how nasty he was, and I'm sitting here smiling. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he just knew how to get to people, man. He was good at what he did. He was really good with his hands too, and he seemed to always have leverage. Always, I felt. You said who I pancaked the most?
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I gotta call somebody out. That's tough.
The statute of limitations is 5 years, man. You're good. It's 6. So
yeah. I remember. I don't know why I remember this, but I remember one training camp. I remember catching a young Chris Slayton. He might have been a redshirt freshman or a freshman. And I remember me and Trudeau used to do double teams, and we used to. I remember I'll never forget one practice. We probably put him on his ass like 5 straight plays, running this double team on him because Trudeau was a strong son of a gun, and he would lift him up for me nice and perfect. I would come and be able to blow him up and kind of catch a bit of the linebacker. We'd get a little 4 or 5 yard gain. I remember catching him a lot one training camp. Who's some other people? I remember having some battles with Marcus Coleman. We came in together, so I remember us going at it for a few years. I caught him a few times, especially when I started getting my weight on him because I was a bit heavier than him, so I caught him a few times at that D tackle spot. But it's tough. I don't really remember, in practice we don't kill each other too much, but so I don't know. It wasn't too many people. It wasn't too many pancakes out there.
Okay. Final note here. Sean Tucker, one of the top running backs in the nation. What would you I mean, if you had the opportunity to block for him, bring me into that.
I mean, it'd be dope.
Did you think about, oh, man, I wish I blocked for that guy?
I mean, I don't really know the kid, but it would have been dope to have a nice, 1,000-yard rusher. I don't think I had in my college career. I think the closest we got was like 700 or 800 for someone. I think Jordan Fredericks had like 700 or something one year, or 800. It would have been good, man, because that dude, he makes plays. A lineman's favorite best friend is a running back who, makes the first guy miss, makes the first couple guys miss, especially when we fuck up and we're in the wrong spot or whatever, and he makes things shake. That dude, that kid's talented. What year is he? A true freshman? He's a redshirt freshman, isn't he?
So because of the COVID year, he had 2 freshman years, so he's considered a sophomore now.
Sophomore, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Talk about timing, huh?
Yeah.
I wish I had another year back. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. So it's very intense. I want to give a shout out to your hometown too. Let everybody know where you're from, because I know you're from New York.
Yeah, shout out Coram, New York. Shout out to my boys on the island, Barack, the one and only. Shout out to my peoples, my friends, my family. And I'll do another quick shout out, WWE NXT, Tuesday nights on the USA Network at 8 o'clock. Check it out. I promise you will not regret it. Dan, if you're down there in Orlando with the squad or whoever, tell me. We'll get tickets for everyone. It doesn't matter. We'll get as many as you want. We'll get them out there to the show. You definitely got to come check it out. This is a good time.
Yeah, I want to shout out Coram too. 40,000, a little over 40,000 in the population in Coram, New York. So big shout out to Coram and NXT. Like you said, very excited for the opportunity, and I'm going to take you up on that, man. I'm going to make sure that we come out and see you. Orlando is like a second city for me, and I am so excited for you and so excited to see where you're going to take this and where you're going to go. Sky is the limit, and once you hit the sky, we're going to go up from there. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do it. Omari Palmer, Odyssey Jones, NXT. Go and see them and let them know once again how they can pay attention every single week.
Tuesday nights, if you go online, you go to www.com/ I messed it up. It's www.com/tickets/NXT 2.0. Tickets are free. You can come in with the family every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. If you can't get there, you can check out on USA Network. It's always a good time. It's always fun. And it's always something new, fresh, and exciting that you're going to see. And you get a good chance to see like you said, the future favorites.
Yeah, the future favorite right here, Odyssey Jones, Omari Palmer here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Cubal Studios. Mr. Palmer, I appreciate it, and I look forward to all that is to come. Thank you so much. And God, I pray and I hope continues to be good to you, and I know he will.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecabal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market today and all throughout the week. Tuesdays through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market. Open Tuesdays through Sundays weekly on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Absolutely, positively worth the drive every time. With homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, the Millhouse Market is there for you. And with an app that is so easy to use, contactless pay, and you can go through the entire menu right there, order your food, and pick up at the drive-thru. Don't even have to go inside, grab and go, making it all easy and keeping it very simple for each and every single one of us. And on the Millhouse Market app that you can get on the Apple app or Google Play Store, you'll have the opportunity to utilize their map section, which will show you directions to the Millhouse Market from wherever you are. So not only can you order your food on the app, but you'll have directions on how to get to the Millhouse Market, grab your food at the drive-thru, and go. They also have their indoor dining bistro menu, which changes every single week to try something new from Rebecca Alford and the team. And of course, their general store with local products from local companies, paying it forward at the Millhouse Market, which is truly worth the drive every single time. Thank you so much to the Millhouse Market for all you do for our community and all you do for each and every single one of us here in upstate New York, celebrating our past and building toward our future. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, I want to thank you for being a part of today's show. A fantastic broadcast featuring Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones. The first time ever in the history of Wake Up Call that I've had the opportunity to bring you a former Syracuse student athlete who is now a professional wrestler. I've never been able to tell a story like this, and I'm so happy that Omari is the one that gets to tell this story. Truly hoping the best for him in NXT 2.0, and as he goes up the WWE, hopefully one day to continue to rise and rise and rise. We get to see him at WrestleMania and so much more. That's what I'm hoping for Omari Palmer, a.k.a. Odyssey Jones. Everything is within our reach. With God, hard work, dedication, determination, faith, love, hope, and desire, we can get there. A lot of ingredients to success, but we can do it. And we have. Omari wouldn't be here without it. I wouldn't be here without it. And I'm thankful to have such a fantastic person in my corner and somebody that I'm hoping for every single day. Inside the Cafe Kubal studios, I want to thank you all for grabbing your cup of coffee, chai, or tea today. Make sure you go out to Cafe Kubal and warm yourself up or cool yourself down. You can get any of their drinks, hot or iced, and you can go and get them at 3501 James Street and 401 South Salina Street, both in Syracuse, inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital, minutes from the Dome in downtown Syracuse, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, where we will be this week on Tuesday, February 22nd, celebrating our conversation with Oswego State Lakers men's basketball head coach Jason Leone. And, of course, they're also on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, New York, in their drive-through location. And, of course, you can go to PB&J's Lunchbox and grab some Cafe Kubal today while you try the DTCNY nachos. My signature nachos that I make at home are now there. I gave the recipe out to PB&J's Lunchbox on how to create my homemade nachos for you all the time. Monday through Saturday, throughout the week at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox now proudly serving my recipe DT's CNY nachos. Go out and get them today and all throughout the week. And of course, you can not only dine in at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, but you can also order from PB&J's Lunchbox on Uber Eats, Eat Streets, Grubhub, and DoorDash. So make sure you do that today. I want to thank you all for tuning into the show live every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, including this holiday, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/livenowdt is where you're watching and listening. You are listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com. Once again, every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Once the shows go live, you can jump into the archives and find them on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and more, simply by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Our partners in Central and Upstate New York, we want to give a proud thanks to Lemoyne Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton Bobcats, Cafe Cubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, where you can order online from any one of the 50 states at maandpazpopcorn.com, Progressive Dental, Avacoles, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, PB&J's Lunchbox, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard. As I said before, Wake Up Call is proud multimedia marketing partner exclusively of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to start off the broadcast every single Wednesday. First and third Wednesdays of each month, we have AD and DT, Athletics Director Bob Beretta, and myself, Dan Tortora, bringing you new episodes with new topics every first and third Wednesday of the month. And every second and fourth Wednesday, including this coming Wednesday, we have the Dolphin Dive coming to you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Dolphin Dive featuring student athletes as well as staff members, coaches, future players, as well as alumni, all here telling their stories on why Lemoyne and discussing their journey as it's Fins Up all day, every day. Check out those specials airing every Wednesday and go back and watch our library on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, on the Lemoyne tab of wakeupcalldt.com, and of course, all throughout the month with new specials coming up. You can get more information by going to LemoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood Pacers. Pacer Pride comes to you every single Friday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with specials airing between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time with your Marywood University Pacers. Executive Director of Athletics Pat Murphy, as well as student athletes and coaches, all being featured here in our Marywood University Spotlight every single month, telling stories more than you've ever gotten before, with a greater spotlight on Marywood University, an unprecedented spotlight on the Pacers, coming to you from Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Make sure you check out our videos on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and check the library, and you can also go to Marywood's tab on wakeupcalldt.com. For more information on the Pacers, go to marywoodpacers.com. The Bobcat Buzz coming to you every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I am proud to say that we are officially in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats here in Syracuse, New York, and we started it officially on February 1st of this great year, 2022, and the Bobcats have their inaugural episode airing right now on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt in our archive. Click subscribe. You can also go to the BSCSYR page on wakeupcalldt.com, which stands for Bryan and Stratton College, Syracuse. Click on the BSCSYR page on wakeupcalldt.com, and you will be able to get our inaugural episode featuring athletic director and men's soccer head coach, as well as national champion Nick Dmitrievsky, as well as Alex Grigorita, the assistant athletic director and women's soccer head coach who just won a national championship himself. women's basketball head coach Clay Gagan-Sherman, men's basketball head coach Dan Frisina, and upcoming baseball head coach Sean Peak, all there in our roundtable discussion on-site on location at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Make sure you check out that special and everything that is to come on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora by going to the BSC SYR page on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Find out more information on the Bobcats by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I hope you have a fantastic day. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and at WakeUpCall_DT on Instagram. Find us there, wakeupcalldt.com. Again, subscribe, click the button on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and I look forward to talking with you soon. God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk.